to this beat.
Welcome to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure that you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you the gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are now rocking with the best. And since you are rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the views. Thank you for the likes. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. I thank you. Follow me on Twitter, Gamecocks Talk. Follow me on Instagram at Gamecocks Talk. And wherever you get your podcast, I know some folks watch it on the YouTube. Some folks watch it on well, that's the only way you can watch it because I'm not on TV yet. But one day I'm gonna get that call, say, Captain Will, we're gonna put you on TV. I was like, oh snap, that's awesome, that's amazing. What took you so long? But some people listen to it on a regular podcast, you know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere. So just hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and you get all the new episodes of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. We got to go do that good one today, y'all. We have a good one today, y'all. We are talking about Head Coach Dawn Staley. Head Coach Dawn Staley. Just simple. Trust the process. Dawn's Daycare know what's going on. They got this. They figured it out. They will continue to figure it out because it got to a point when we go back to the Michigan game and we saw how that looked, and it didn't look amazing. It's like, okay, we got some holes in this basketball team. And then we played North Carolina State here in Charlotte, and it was like, oh, it's still some things going on with this basketball team. But Dawn has been steadfast in saying that, okay, I'm not worried. Okay, when the social media buzz and the media aficionados start talking about, you know, changing up the starting lineups, and I was first in line. I said we need to change this starting lineup. I said it. I said we need to have my homegirl Raven Johnson, my favorite basketball player on the team, to come off the bench and then let her figure out the offensive woes and then bring her back. I said that instead of having Raven Johnson start, I said you should have Tessa Johnson start. Okay. And I also mentioned that instead of having Sania Feagin start, you should start Ashlyn Watkins. If you don't start Ashlyn Watkins, you should start Joyce Edwards. Well, Dawn Staley didn't listen to nobody. She damn sure didn't listen to me. And at the end of the day, this is what she do. This is why she in her 17th year coaching South Carolina. This is why she has 3 championships and could have easily had 5. This is why South Carolina is a heavy favorite still to be champions this year. She figured it out. She trusts her team. She trusts her family, because that's what they are. They're family. This is why the girls get along so well. It's very difficult for teams to not have discourse on their squad. It is difficult not to have discourse on in the workplace. It's difficult not to have discourse in the classroom. Whatever type situation that you do, or organization, or a bridge club, or a spades tournament, whatever it is that you do that involves people, fantasy football, you know, it's tough. When I was in the Army, I was on active duty for 22 years. You telling me it wasn't no discourse in my 22 years of active duty service? You throw in 3 years of Army Reserve time, you know, it was discourse. But we were family. And in the Army's case, you know, you trusted people with your life. When I was in Iraq, you trusted people with your life. That's much different than, basketball. But these young ladies trust each other. They know each other better than anybody. They spend more time with each other than their own families. Listen to me when I say this. They spend more time with themselves than their own family. So when you see the girls dancing, when you see the girls enjoying themselves, when you see the girls on the bench sometimes feeling some type of way and the other girls are trying to pick them up and lifting them up and lifting their spirits up, is because they have a genuine love for one another. That's what great teams are about. Great players come and go. And with this transfer era, great players transfer quite often. They move on to their better situation, in women's basketball, men's basketball, and right now in college football. Today is National Signing Day for, college football, and shout out to Shane Beamer and the football team for getting a really good recruiting class coming in. And then the transfer portal, a lot of players are entering the transfer portal on the football side and hoping to get into a situation where they can play more or contribute to a championship type team. Despite the challenges, despite the off-season distractions that went on with this team that goes along with, winning a championship previously, it is tough. It is difficult to repeat as champions. Shout out to and salute to UConns and the Tennessees and whoever actually repeated to be a champion. It is difficult because every single time, every team is going to bring their best shot. Duke going to bring their best shot tomorrow. TCU going to bring their best shot on Sunday. South Carolina is still the reigning defending national champions, the three-time national champions. So they're going to bring everything they got. They're going to try to play their best game. I know Carol Lawson and Dawn Staley are friends, but Carol Lawson is going to try to beat Dawn Staley on her home court tomorrow. Those are the facts. And Duke is a great basketball team. Duke is going to go far in the NCAA tournament. Duke is probably going to win the ACC. They are legit, and we have to play legit. We have to match their energy on tomorrow, or we're going to be looking crazy around midnight tomorrow night. I mentioned earlier, make sure you get your naps in. Make sure you get your naps in before this basketball game. It was 9 o'clock. We have a 9 o'clock tip-off. Well, it won't tip off at 9 o'clock. Probably tip off around 9:15, 9:17. 2-hour basketball game. Make sure you get your nap in. I'm specifically talking about the older generation, so you can watch these young ladies play dope basketball. But Duke is coming to play. But I'm not worried. Even when, we lost to UCLA, I thought things should have been different, but I wasn't worried. UCLA did to us what we normally do to other teams. UCLA out-physicaled South Carolina. That's what they did. And in terms of being a purist basketball fan who enjoys inside play, I love it. I love physical basketball. I have literally stopped watching the NBA. I don't watch the NBA. I've been trickling down for the last 5-6 years with the NBA product. And you watch the ratings, which I do. The NBA's ratings have gone down year after year after year. I don't want to see 40 and sometimes 50 3-pointers in a basketball game. This is not 3-point shootout. I'm wearing a Hornets, shirt. I don't want to see LaMelo Ball shooting 22 3-pointers in a basketball game, and supposedly he's supposed to be the point guard. That's not it. I'm enjoying the product that the women basketball are doing now, especially in college. The product is awesome. The product is simply amazing. So amazing, like Luther Vandross used to say back in the 80s. This is it's just nice to see pretty basketball. It's nice to see effort and skill. It's nice to see competition. Women's basketball on the college level is more popular than men's college basketball. Y'all know that, right? Men's college basketball now is not as popular as women's basketball. It's not. People in the barbershop, and I might go get shaped up, the beard or something like that. I ain't, I just shave my own head. But I digress. People in the barbershop ain't sitting around talking about, men's college basketball. They are not. Trust me when I say that. They are not. That's not the topic of the day. Only time they talk about men's college basketball now, I'm in Charlotte, is maybe when Duke or North Carolina play. Okay? In March Madness. But on a Tuesday, on a Thursday, they're not talking about it. They're talking about women's basketball. They are talking about the Juju Watkins. They're talking about Hannah Hidalgos. They're talking about the MiLaysia Fulwiley. They're talking about all these players that brings excitement to your eyes. And it's wonderful. It really is. It is so wonderful to see and hear to my ears and in my eyes, because the sport is growing so fast. But with South Carolina, with the sport growing so fast exponentially, and the talent that Carolina has, we're supposed to be having players that transfer out, right? We're supposed to have players that say, okay, I'm going to go to another school. It might not be as good as South Carolina. I may not win a conference championship. I may not even compete for a conference championship, but I might play 30 to 35 minutes for, a mid-level team. I might make a quote unquote mid-level conference first team type situation where South Carolina, I might play 13 to 15 minutes. We were supposed to have multiple players transfer out of this program, because when you have, 12 five-star recruits, you have 12 five-star recruits and one four-star recruit, everybody's not going to be happy. Somebody is going to get upset about their playing time. Somebody is going to be like, yo, I have to go somewhere else to satisfy my needs of being a college basketball player. We got NIL. Somebody has to write them checks out for me. But nobody transferred out. Nobody. We had Maryam Dauda come in, and she playing again next season because she wants to compete against the best. And she's competing against the best every day at practice. She's still a five-star recruit. She was still ranked 13th in her recruiting class. But when you have a whole bunch of players that was top 25 on their respective recruiting class, everybody's great. Everybody eats. Everybody takes a bite of the apple, and everybody is pacified one way or another. Because in tomorrow's game, we don't know who's going to go off. I'm predicting that it's going to be Chloe and Joyce. I'm predicting those two players are going to go off tomorrow and have great games, but I really don't know. This could be a game where, Tessa does a thing. MiLaysia always plays well at home. I think that Jaden Donovan is going to guard Pow Pow, so I believe that she's going to have a lesser game than she normally has. But because here's the thing. Pow Pow is at the top of the scouting report. Make no mistake about it. But you try to take out Pow Pow, and Jaden Donovan is their best defender. You have a situation where Tessa goes off, or Fulwiley goes off, or, how about this right here? Maddy McDaniel finds a way to the basket multiple times, shooting 65% for the field, having assist to turnover ratio that is out of this world. But players aren't transferring. But here's the thing, right? There was a lot of stuff that was going on in terms of recruiting. Like LSU is doing so great in recruiting this year. They are. They are. The previous class, we heard that Southern Cal has a #1 ranked recruiting class. Wow, that's amazing. They are doing that. But here's the thing, right? Southern Cal has the #1 ranked recruiting class this season. They ain't playing. Those 5 recruits that Southern Cal brought in, they're not playing. It just talk. It's just talk. It doesn't matter if Notre Dame brought in a great recruiting class. It doesn't matter. They're still only going to play the 6 players. It doesn't matter. Dawn Staley brought in Adhel Tac, Maddy McDaniel, and Joyce Edwards to this basketball team in the class of 2024. Also brought in Maryam Dauda. Brought in 4 players to this team. Though specifically, the 3 recruits could have went anywhere in the country. They decided to come to South Carolina. They knew going in that they weren't going to start. They knew that. They knew that. You think the players at Southern Cal were sold that they would get more playing time than they're getting? You think the players that went to Notre Dame were sold that they were going to get more playing time than they actually get? You think with Texas, Justice Carlton, Jordan Lee was sold that they were going to get more playing time in Texas? I don't know. I do know with South Carolina, where we typically play 10 to 12 players every single game. It trips me out because we had the quote unquote, the #3 overall recruiting class. Ugh, whatever. But everybody plays. It's not a matter of sitting, watching, because not even taking your warm-up jersey, y'all, because you know you ain't gonna play. I don't know how many players Notre Dame have on their team. I mean, and let's go with 12. Let's go with 12. 6 of them don't even need to take the warm-up off because you know you're not going into the game unless it's a blowout. If the game is 10 points or less, you know you ain't getting in the game. I don't care what type of recruit you are. And if you're a guard, you definitely ain't getting in the game. Because Hidalgo and Olivia Miles going to get the bulk of those minutes. South Carolina got 1 recruit for the class of 2025, Ayla McDowell, 5-star recruit, top 15 player, 6'2" wing. And we're not on any top 25 recruiting cycles for high school. None. We ain't on none of them. We missed out, quote unquote, missed out on so many players this recruiting cycle because the thoughts are, the scuttlebutt is that those players don't want to wait their turn playing for South Carolina. Gotcha. But you're going to wait your turn playing for another team. While at South Carolina, you would at least play. So, for the Divine Burridges, for the Jazzy Davisons, for the numerous players that spurn the Gamecocks, we still might get a God maker. We might. It's a possibility. I think it's highly probable that we get a God maker. But if we don't get a God maker, and we are still losing Powell, Breezy, Feagin, Sakima Walker, we're losing all these players to attrition. They're leaving South Carolina. But we only got 1 that's coming in. Don got this. Not concerned. There's a shooter out there who Dawn Staley would get to help fill the need that Tahina Powell gave us. Mm-hmm. It will. But also you got Tessa Johnson when Powell's gone, who's going to step into the starting role. But would she be stepping in the starting role for Powell, or would she be stepping in the starting role for Breezy Hall? Makes you think. And with that being said, you got MiLaysia Fulwiley, who will be in the starting lineup next year. Yeah, she will. She will. And maybe MiLaysia Fulwiley be taking that Powell spot. So you have Raven, and you have Fulwiley, and you have Tessa. You got Chloe, who will be back that'll be her senior year next year. And then you are going in the starting lineup, you were replacing Sania Feagin. So that will be, Ashlyn Watkins, Joyce Edwards, whomever it's going to be. But you still got Feagin leaving, right? So who steps up in Feagin's spot? Well, you can say Maryam Dauda steps into Feagin's spot. You can say a fully healthy Adhel Tac steps into Feagin's spot. So the concentration or the energy that sometimes is spent on recruiting isn't necessarily important for the South Carolina women's basketball team in this class of 2025. It's not. It's not. The couple needs that we have, we'll fill them in the transfer portal, but is at the point where you just continue to reload, and next woman up. Dawn's Daycare got this. Got this. Ain't no doom and gloom. There is nothing, no worries for the South Carolina Gamecocks. You got some ballers in this 2026 recruiting class. You got Kate Harpering. You got the #1 overall recruit in Hall. In 2027, you got Kalina Smith, who I believe, and this is the reality of it. I believe that Kalina Smith, who right now is class of 27, #1 overall recruit in 2027 class, I believe that Kalina Smith is the top 2 player in high school basketball right now, and that includes Leah Chavez. Kalina Smith is special. Dawn Daycare got this. Dawn Staley got this. And we're going to turn up tomorrow versus Duke. This concludes another episode of Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will. I'm your man. I am your man, Captain Will. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe to Gamecocks Talk with Captain Will so I continue to bring you the gospel of Gamecocks every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are now rocking with the best. And since you're rocking with the best, come rock with your man, Captain Will. Let's go.